여보세요. Hey, haircut. Oh, oh. Okay, NCT Lab just dropped this from NCT U, and it's called Marine Turtle. Sounds interesting. It's been a while since I've done any NCT. I mostly have heard NCT Dream, some NCT 127. I think this might be actually the first NCT U track that I've been able to check out, like really sit down and listen to it, you know what I mean? But it sounds interesting, so let's see what they got going on here. Much more like, I guess, laid back and melodic than I probably wasn't anticipating. Although I wasn't sure, what the concept would be. Let's up the quality on this, because they are using these shots. Everything about this has some nostalgia to it. Like, these shots have some particular filters on them that are the digitized versions of some old, like, film reel type of resolutions, you know. Some of them are even a bit very specific, like the graininess, the aspect ratio. Like there's a lot of things that sort of are nostalgic about it. And even the little viewfinder toy, some, you know, these things are kind of like throwbacks to an earlier decade. And if I'm not mistaken, NCT U does like to do like concepts like that, like 90s sort of concepts. See, marine turtle. So in other words, like sea turtle, like sea turtles. It's interesting actually, because sea turtles have like quite a unique experience, don't they? They're, you know, the mother lays the eggs on the beach. Then the little turtles hatch out of the eggs. They have to climb out of the sand, right? And it's very dangerous, because all the animals that would feed on the baby sea turtles know when that's going to happen. So they like wait for them. They know they're about to come out. So all these sort of predator animals come and wait for the turtles to pop out. And the turtles have to try and make it to the water. And if they make it to the water, then they have better chances, but they're still like these little tiny turtles, you know, like really there's a bunch of them that get born, but there's not many of them that actually like survive, you know, into adulthood, and to where they can mate and then have another generation of sea turtles. And sea turtles have this very unique ability where they, you know, once they make it to that water, man, like they're gone. They don't even want, you know what I mean? Like they take off and they swim, and they'll go all around the world. Like they'll go from one ocean to another, you know, but eventually when they reach a certain point, they'll come back. They'll come all the way back to the beach where they were born at. And that's where they're going to do their mating, whatever you call it, ritual, or you know, the specific way that they do that. And then the next generation of turtles is born at that same location, which is like really a fascinating thing. I mean, how do you do that? You know, like a person wouldn't easily be able to find their way back, especially not like you took off as a child, as a baby, and then you remember where it is and you come all the way back. I mean, it's a very, very unique thing. And looking at some of the lyrics, you know, that wonderful high note that comes out, I see my sea, right? So that's what he's talking about there. It's like, I see where I came from. Like, I see my sea when I scurried across the sand and I made it to the water. And that's where I was. That's my sea right there. I've been to all the other seas, but I remember where mine is. So it's an interesting concept. It's much more sweet and nostalgic than, and I guess than I would have guessed, right? But it's fairly straightforward. We're in 4. You have a nice percussive hit over your 2 and 4 to give you that accent. There's some neat double stops in a kick that occur like about the 3rd beat of the measure, and it's a nice little embellishment, kind of like in between your accented downbeats, right in between that 2 and 4. It's like a 16th note double stop, boom boom, and there's a colorful arpeggiator that's going on. A 16th note, that's a 16th note pattern. And it's a synth arpeggiator that's just going over the outlining the chord in the progression. And it's really kind of a vocal harmony and melody showcase, though. Like, this is all vocals. The mix is very, it adds to that nostalgic feeling. But everything really serves the vocals. Like, there's plenty of space for these vocal ranges and for the harmonies that they create when they stack on each other. And I wasn't expecting it to be so mellow and, you know, I wasn't sure. I could tell that maybe perhaps they were gonna try to do something aquatic or blue-ish, like let's say in tone-wise, like that that sounds like the color blue, but it's counterintuitive in a way that is really interesting though. But it's some serious vocal work, man. Like they wanted to sing on this for real. A lot of synth sounds in the beginning and then some piano. There's a lot of reverb on everything. Again, this is that nostalgic groove, right? To give it a characteristic like that. Whenever there's reverb, a little bit of echo, things like that, it creates that spatial dimension. It feels like it's all around you, So this reinforces that idea of like memory or nostalgia. And again, the turtle remembers where it was born and it's on its way back there. But I think that interesting sound in the beginning that sort of rises, right? That swelling sound that comes, I think it's like a soft synth horn sound, but it's extremely like rounded off and very, very soft. Like that way that's EQ'd, man. It might not be a synth horn, but it's something similar to that or close to it. But it has so much of the edge like smoothed out that it doesn't have a real brassy quality to it. So it's quite an interesting sound. Oh, there's a almost like a woodblock hit, right? Your accent on the 2 and the 4 is quite narrow, but there's a woodblock and then there's like a drop sound, almost like a water like bloop, like dropping in right, and they're stacked on top of each other, so you get the more narrow top end, and then that water drop sound basically is like the low end of that accent that's going on the 2 and the 4. And it's almost like a muted strings, that boom, 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 a little 16th note pattern that's going on. And it sounds like muted strings, like almost plucked, and then of course the vocal entry, right? And it's a soft delivery. The dynamic is very like deliberately controlled here. The aim is to create a feeling of closeness, a very sort of intimate type of feel, right? It's very like the breathiness of the vocals is expressing like when you're up close, kind of speaking directly to somebody. Now the arpeggiator. So the introduction of harmonies, right? Now these vocal lines are actually being at least double. There's at least 2 voices that are both harmonizing here on this part, and it's the main vocal, of course, has the stronger projection, the higher dynamic level on it. So it's a little bit more projection. He's leaning into these pitches a little bit more, and then that stack, the vocal that it's stacked with, is keeping some of that closeness, some of that intimate sort of proximity, right? A lot of 8th note subdivisions in the vocal rhythms, right? And then I just noticed that kick, there's like a big triplet group, like boom, 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 and it's tied to that, or not really tied to, but it comes right before that little double stop group that's in the measure. But it's an interesting pattern. I think this is now like pre-chorus section that we're in, and the mix is starting to like it's a build-up that would normally be done if this was like a more upbeat kind of track, this is where you hear like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, right? Like that percussion rhythm starts to build everything up. But this mix is slowly sort of blooming with the different sounds that are incorporated in it, and the rhythmic patterns, not the most intensive thing. Like there's a significant change up from verse to pre-chorus section now, mostly in that kick, right? But also that percussive shift, instead of a more narrow sort of like crisp kind of, you know, pop sound to it, now it's all low end. Like most of the way your percussion has shifted into low end, and it's all sort of creating this resonance, right? Because the mix above the percussion is it's starting to really get bright at this point, and it's a very nice texture. It's a really, really sweet and comfortable type of texture. Really clean high note there, like super clean. It was so comfortable, you know, like there's no, you don't even feel the tension, like it's very, very smooth. That build up, you notice, was like topped off with a drum fill, right? A little drum fill and a sort of synth expanding, like, you know, like, but all of that sort of peaks right there. And then there's an interesting rhythmic pattern, because once they start singing this chorus melody, it's like 1, 2, 3 and a 4 and a 1, 2, da 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 da. Then it will switch to a triplet note pattern, and it continues da 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 da, right? And so we're going from actual like quarter notes, like whole quarter notes, and then into 16th note, into triplet patterns and groups of 3. And but the delivery on the vocals is like super clean, man. It's really, really well done. That was a really nice high note there. And there will be at least a couple of peaks, right, in the song, because we'll come back to this hook section. So the phrasing on the hook section is really done to set you up for that wonderful jump right at the end, and then it's going to come back down into the next verse section. But most of the way that phrase is written is all to get you to that high point, right? That's really nice.
One walk is alive, each step together you and I. 过往的遗憾都开始飞，记忆将我拥抱包围。Okay, sound of water closer, feel me.
Sound of water closer. See each step you and I. And you notice we hit that high point. We came back down into that very deliberately controlled dynamic with the sort of airiness, the breathiness of the vocal. So after we've sort of reached that peak, we've brought it back in close now, and you know, now it's very, very personal again. And it is kind of you know, an expression, or a, if you would, a confession of emotions. You know what I mean? Like it's supposed to have that type of feel to it, but the rhythmic change in between the two phrases, right? Like, and that's actually a really nice like vocal range. The register there, the way it dropped after climbing up to that first peak, right? That was the whole point of the chorus section, and then bring it back down into a really nice sort of like high tenor range, and yeah, that breathiness on it, like bringing it in personal again. But it's very like a thoughtfully done. Like, you know, you write that so that a certain voice takes it up to that high point, and then the reason the next part is that particular voice is because it's the foundation to sort of land on, right? It's not dropping, it's not like crashing back down. It's very much like alighting, like landing down. It's very, very carefully done.
像完迈开的手掌 Turning you 去幻想拥抱自由滋味重新再属于我的世界山羊里的暖流最宽广的包容蓝白色潮汐连接着天地拥抱着的海排向梦的节奏蓝洋里上涌光明尽头的世界中游走浪花里穿越 Find a way Find a way Yeah A brand new place 潮巨浪中进的光点遨游将日积月累的阴霾卷走越过海岸线的 Find a way Find a way Yeah 终于到这瞬间 I see I see
Really, really good songwriting. So it's like, swimming through angry waves, right? Like, so the perspective of the sea turtle, right, is like learning to sort of navigate the different emotions and things, right? Because sometimes the waves are clear and peaceful, and it's just you're just gliding through it, right? And then sometimes you have to learn how to deal with the current that's not carrying you; it's actually going against you, right? What an interesting way to write it, right? Like swimming through angry waves. Well, keeping your orientation, keeping your, you know what I mean? Not getting lost, not getting thrown off course by that resistance that you feel. Find a way, back to my sea, right? Like it's man, it's really good songwriting. This is one of those examples where you can point that out. I mean, it's some other songs, like, yeah, they're well written and they're very cool and it's very fun and quite interesting. But this is really, really pensive, reflective stuff, man. Like this is it's actually really deep. Bridge section.
躺在深蓝色辽阔的臂弯中每寸肌肤都与你相拥刚好坏都被无情包容当恨吻不再是想象我就是翱翔蓝洋里徜徉光明尽头的世界中游走浪花里穿越 Find a way Find a way Yeah A brand new place A brand new place 让人积月累的阴霾卷走越过海岸线 Find a way Find a way Find a way 终于到这瞬间 I see I see
Great. I was gonna stop it there, but I just couldn't. The bridge section, or it's really a sort of a short bridge before the last chorus section, right before the out, and everything becomes really, really light there because the percussion and the bass drops out, and we just have piano with some vocal harmonies and certain lines over the top. And then once you can actually hear some synth bass sounds start to come in. They sort of start pulsing out before the kick comes back in, right, and starts to fill in that low end. But those are some really, really nice vocal harmonies that are going on, right? It's and there are times when you have independent melody lines that are going on, it's a bit of counterpoint, but sometimes they sort of line up perfectly in these really wonderful harmonies, and it's just, man, these guys wanted to show off their voices a little bit in this one, and it's good, man. It's good. It's well done. It's really well done. It's really well written, both the composition and the song. And that last peak, right? And those are some fantastic sort of ad libs. Those, the lines that go off there. Some of these sustained notes, right, that they have going. It was, I was gonna stop it, and then they hit a high note, and I'm like, okay, I can't stop it yet. I don't. You know what I mean? Because it just breaks it up, and that's really well done too. Because it's, you get one, and then sort of the end of a phrase, and then another one. It keeps like drawing you back. You know what I mean? It's like you're hearing this, and you go, oh man, and then oh man, and oh, it's another one, right? Like it just keeps getting better and better. And then that last peak, the last, the way that chorus phrase builds up to that high note. Well, it was, waves. It was waves. You get those wonderful ad libs, and each one is like a wave, right? Rolling and rolling. And then when it reaches that final high note again, it's not just one voice, but it's two. And it's, man, so it's really interesting, man. Because if I put, a sort of narrative to it, you could say it's like two turtles that, one has gone out this way, and that's your first verse, right? Back to your first chorus section. And then there's another one that's gone out this way, right? And this journey is out the second verse and then coming back the second chorus. And then at the bridge section is where they both like meet back in the original water, right? And they're both together now, and there's, that's why you get the rolling waves of these ad-lib lines that are going on, and then it builds up to the high point, right, where the two voices are together. And that's just one interpretation. That's just my own take on it, but it's a pattern that I see across the entire structure of the song. But it's really, really well written. It's nostalgic, and it's very sweet. Every part of the composition has a point to it. Like there's a reason for it. The chorus is a really nice example of how to write, that line over the progression in order to set you up and then serve that high note just as best as you possibly can. And it's really, really quite a wonderful song. It's deeply nostalgic. It's a wonderful tone. And this is all vocal, man. This is like these guys wanted to sing. You know what I mean? Like because NCT can do like really fun and upbeat tracks, things like that. But here they were like, no, we want to hit the 4-part harmonies. You know what I mean? Like the whole arrangement, dude. This serves vocals. Like they just served some incredible vocals here, and it's really good. It's really, really well written and well performed. These there's no, I mean there's harmonic tension. There's resolutions that come, but there's no tension in the vocals at all. Whether it's that close, intimate, sort of breathy type of delivery, all the way through the build-ups into the high notes, like there's no tension, man. There's no. It's just incredibly accurate control of moving through the different pitch values. It's really just insanely accurate. And very, very clean. Like it's incredibly clean. And it's not even so much production wise, because there's going to be some EQing, there's going to be some treatment in the vocals, but not a lot. Like, honestly, the vocals are the cleanest sound in this mix. And where you get reverb, where you get some of these different things that are added, it's the other instrument sounds in the mix. The vocals, though, have like all this room, man. They gave them all the space, right, for those particular frequencies and everything. It was like, just do your thing, man. Just do that, your harmonies hit that, melodies hit that, and it's super, super clean. Really, really nice, man. Really awesome. NCT U, Marine Turtle, man. I gotta check out more from NCT. I admit I've been lacking on NCT U, but I will definitely check out some more from them. It's very impressive vocal work for sure.